I don't think I've ever seen a more difficult role. She, without a doubt, saved this entire season.
You're my new helper.
Yes, sir.
Cut the sirs. I prefer Reacher.
Understood, Reacher.
No, I mean that episode is the heart and soul of this entire season. We, if we don't understand why he wants to go after the antagonist so bad, he calls it the most evil guy he's ever met. This is the inciting incident for that. But it also helps us understand like Reacher's values, and like who he works with. I mean, this is the first teammate that he's ever adopted.
Yeah, I think we have to go there in order for the audience to understand what Reacher's going through. I'm a nemesis from his past that he didn't quite wrap up in a bow, and it comes back to haunt him in a very, very terrible way. And those hauntings you have to see in order to really kind of move on from that. And that flashback episode is definitely one of my favorite for sure.
Man, she absolutely crushed. I've worked on a lot of different things. I've met a lot of different challenges. Even with Reacher, there are some times that, we've had to, with very little time to prepare, rip through just pages of complex dialogue. I don't think I've ever seen a more difficult role as an actress, as an actor. She, without a doubt, saved this entire season. I don't know who else could have done. I mean, she was like so incredibly talented, and she had the hardest, heaviest lift of the entire season and of any role I've ever seen in my career face to face. And she really nailed it. I don't think people can appreciate just how difficult that kind of dialogue and that pacing and the military jargon and the speed at which she had to do it and the interrogation scenes. Wildly, wildly difficult. Somebody who is pretty good at dialogue. I've never seen anything quite like it. And my hat's off to her for what she achieved this season. And your favorite episode, probably because of her work, yeah.
You don't want a murder rap coming back on you?
Dominique. Huh? That was her name.
I think intentionally we try to mirror it in that context too, but yet two different circumstances. And it bookends itself. And Nick Santora, one of the best runners I've ever worked with, really was thoughtful in really creating the arc, especially for Reacher and Quinn as they kind of travel through this whole journey in the season. I think in preparing for that last moment, we did it multiple ways to give different dynamics to it. And to Alan's credit as well, he's all in 100% of the time. And we would even talk after certain takes and think about what moment we actually want to try to deliver here. And it was very poignant and very, very specific. So it was great, such a great collaborator with him and Sam directing. And obviously it starts with the writing, but in that continuous collaboration, I think we really nailed it in the end.
I think in this season 3, I mean, we always ride or die together, but I think really in this one, because of the stakes and the fact that she, shows up against his wishes, to help him, I think really says something about how she feels about him and that bond and how he's family,
Every season we get new characters, we get a new story, but if Duffy were to ever come back, what would you want to explore more with her story?
I would be interested to just see more of how she operates under pressure. Because what I love is that she is immensely smart and capable and quick to learn and follows her gut. But also we are seeing her tested. We're seeing her have to learn a hell of a lot more. And it's kind of fun to see her be in charge. She's doing it off the books. Her bosses don't know about this. And while there are certainly mistakes made and things that go awry, I don't know about you. She's someone that I would want in the trenches with me. I'd kind of like to see her take on more bad guys off the books.
Yeah.
It started for me with 4 months of stunt training to be the best fighter ever, because Alan is not only a great actor, but he's a great fighter as well, so I had to keep up. Many weeks of night shoots and day shoots of sometimes 10 to 14 hours on set. Alan and me at last night, we ended at 5:30 a.m. On the bridge, and we were both devastated, and we hugged each other. We did it. And we thanked each other. I just spoke to him 1 hour ago. He said it was the most physically demanding thing that I've ever done. And I said, me too. It's me too.
You think I won't shoot you? All I've thought about for years is how I'd kill you. I'd make you pay for hurting my boy.
Well, just to go macro for a second, I became a father while we were making the series, as did Olivier. So that was great to draw upon that, to feel the love of a child and to know what that feels like. But that was a really interesting aspect of the season, exploring that relationship. I think at some points he becomes a little bit intimidated by his friendship with my son, but I think Beck is a guy who's seeking forgiveness. He's seeking redemption in his relationship because he was not there for his son. And at the same time, there's a time ticking clock on this because of Brian's character and what's going on. So all those elements are great in the context of creating a villainous character and working in tandem with really great actors and great material. If it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage, So we had great material to work with. We also had the good fortune of having all episodes from the outset. We had plenty of time to prep and do our thing, get ready. And then the work-life experience was great. I really enjoyed the process of this, and being up in Canada. I've shot a lot in Canada over the years, so it was great to be back up there.
I love when the show winks at itself. And in that moment, that's like a major wink of like, we all know. And Duffy gets the pleasure of experiencing it firsthand and has such a pure response of sort of delighted shock. Yeah, I think she's mighty impressed. What I also think is great about it being delayed for that moment is that when Duffy first meets Reacher, she's not swooning for him. She's not impressed by him. She's like, who the fuck are you? Why are you on my turf? What do you know? Can I trust you? She has a whole other job to do, and he's just come into the mix and complicated things. In her gut, she feels like she can trust him. So she's like, okay, well, let's see where this goes. And he looks like he could be pretty handy. But I like that through the season, we see a kind of trust and a respect and, her kind of letting her tough guard down and her professionalism of, yeah, we're here to work together, but my God, well done.
Alan has told us that they use like camera tricks and visual tricks to make him like loom larger over everyone else. I was wondering if they did the same thing for you for season 3 when it came to your scenes with Alan.
No.
They didn't need to.
I was whispered. I don't know if I can tell. Alan is the tallest of every season this season. But it was a compliment to me. So, no, but what you see is what you get with me.
I remember shooting a scene at the mansion, and Olivia had to duck under the front door. I go, this man is a presence. But it was a great experience for all of us.
Yeah, no, 7-2 is enough. I don't want to be 7-3 yet.
I figured out why you do what you do. Because you hate the big, the powerful, who think they can get away with things. So you make sure they don't.
You just figured that out?